Coin the moonshot. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, AI coins. I'm going to tell you. So don't go anywhere. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the like button. This show is brought to you by my Patreon. Unhinged, patreon.com/unhinged crypto. The clickable link is in the comments. The other link is in the description. And of course, we have this very subtle QR code with giant arrows. Everything you're going to see today, the Patreon group saw before. They get it before. And I did 8 charts custom in a chat room for premium members. We've also got t-shirts, which I can show you on my Twitter. But most importantly, the sector game, right? The trading game. We're in the hands of the traders. It goes up 40%. Take the money, rotate to the next sector. What's the next sector to rotate to? I'm going to tell you, right? AI went. I bet gaming and metaverse is next, right? Along with 3 other coins. All right. Now, let's get into the news. Let's welcome who's here. Don't forget the Patreon link is in the comments. Renee, Willameter, right? Liking the Patreon. J-Boy, Rave Song Records, David, Patriot Caveman, Philip, Luis, Spartan number 100, Nico F, Aiken with the Notorious love. I appreciate that. Okay. As people file in, I got to do this rapid fire today. News. Okay, let's start with this. Just in, reporter asked Michael Saylor when he plans to sell Bitcoin. And he says, I'll be buying the top forever. I'm long and I'm strong. And I'm reading from the book of Stan Druckenmiller, which is a famous speculator who said, put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket carefully. And every time it goes down, ask yourself why you own it. Michael Saylor is the Stan Druckenmiller of this era. In equities, Stan Druckenmiller has never had a down year. Never. Okay? So there's something to be said for getting laser focused, right? And on these red days, it's more important to be live on red days than it is on green days. Or live on the air, watch the show, look at your charts, remind yourself why you're in crypto, and remind yourself about all these macro events which are happening before your eyes. Let me ask you a question. Last night, we had a bank merger, and an hour later, we had a rate cut by one of the biggest countries in the world. Is that an accident? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And unbelievably, crypto is down the next day. I'm like, oh, goody. Really? Oh, goody. Stick around for the charts. But you know what? If you don't have time, just be like Mike. Don't buy the top, but this is the mentality. This is the mentality. Capital One agrees to buy Discover Financial. So U.S. credit card debt's $1 trillion. People are not paying their credit cards. So let's put 2 credit card companies together. Okay. Whose idea was that? Was it Capital One's, Discover's, or banking regulators, or the Fed, or the Treasury, or all 3? Somebody in trouble here? Somebody got a little bit of a problem on their books? Maybe? Chinese cut rates an hour later. Looks like whatever they're doing predictably to prop up their stock market isn't working because it isn't enough. When you got to control free markets, you got to print. So we got bank mergers. We got the Fed talking all hawkish. Fascinating. Fascinating, as Mr. Spock would say. Chinese cutting rates. What do you think happens after they start cutting rates? They don't stop cutting rates. What happens when they don't stop cutting rates? They print. Then what happens? Everybody has to print. Or everybody has to inject money into the system so that, like this new entity survives. right? I mean, that's the point. They're combining them, but then the Fed may have to put high-powered liquidity in the system to make sure everything is okay. It doesn't have to be a disaster, right? And everyone's selling crypto. Like high-powered money is coming. It's not, this whole thing with, China having to cut rates and do stimulus. That was all theoretical 6th Street crypto for, people in Patreon. That's not theoretical anymore. This is happening. And they're selling crypto. Okay. Walmart says inflation was stickier than expected after they had unbelievable earnings. Great. They're buying a TV manufacturer. Okay. Yeah. Prices are not going down, but consumers are walking away. Not necessarily from Walmart, but I mean, they're the low price competitor. Bad property debt exceeds reserves at largest U.S. banks. Yeah, we know this. We know it. And the question is, when does it get traded? The most recent example on the positive side was when OpenAI announced Sora, and then all the AI cryptos that have nothing to do with Sora all mooned like 40, 50%. Jasmine went last night. We covered that on the last market update, a giant descending triangle. So, it's hard to know when these things get traded, but what we do know is they are going to get traded. And when they do, net, even if there's volatility, it's positive crypto. Which cryptos? I'll give you a hint right here. ETH hits 3K for the first time and sells off. So everyone's afraid of 3K, and I get it. I don't think 3K on a chart is a big deal, but ETH is ETH moves so slowly, right? I like that they're afraid of 3K because you know what? The day that they're not afraid of 3K, okay, right? Markets climb the wall of worry. Now everybody's going to be like, yay, ETH was at 3K. And everyone's going to be like, oh, ETH got rejected. Oh, my God. Solana's down 5%. No. Oh, my God. I FOMO'd in to Hedera, and now I got to call my mom. Listen, if you did a bad trade, forget it. The most valuable asset that you have in this market is a clear head, because that's what bull markets do. They try to get your head cleared out, right? Everyone's talking to Michael Saylor about when's he going to take profits. Mike's like, are you asking me to take profits question? Hang on a second while I hit the green button. When you ask me when I'm buying more, then I'll sell. Everyone's talking about selling. And my father used to say this. He was a stockbroker. When people call up and say, when should I sell? Buy. Period. Approximately 1 billion in liquidations are positioned above 52,400. Who is short Bitcoin? I mean, did they not know who BlackRock is? Did they not know who these people are, and that they mean business? They checked anything about this news about the U.S. dollar, about what some government entity did about taking somebody's assets in dollars. Who's leveraged short Bitcoin? Good luck with that. Crypto no longer an outsider at famed Miami Beach conference. I went to Bitcoin Miami. It was the first conference after COVID in 2021. That was like the party of the century, right? Naturally, crypto last year in 2023, crypto conferences were like funerals where they declared the government's going to put crypto out of business. Ha, ha, ha. Free markets win again. I'm glad to see crypto back at Miami Beach, but no lampshades on your head. King is here. Welcome. Pancakes and peanut butter. Appreciate you. TBA, Renee, Ashton, Richard is here. Brick Dreams, 23, Gian, YouTube intern. I'd buy that for $1. Laughing Dolphin. Welcome. Ether could be the next institutional darling. Yeah, just a quick word about ETH. Arthur Hayes will remind you that the future of the internet and AI will a lot of it is going to run on ETH. Just because ETH has a $10 gas fee to trade degen doesn't mean ETH doesn't have value. ETH is being held down most likely by selling and liquidation pressure to pay off loans from the 2022 bankruptcy-ridden debacle. There's forced selling in ETH, in my opinion. And when forced selling ends, what happens? What happens when you take a basketball and you push it down underwater, right? It's fully inflated. It's ready to go. You push it down under the surface of the water, and then you let go. Not only does it come to the surface, it pops all the way out. And that's what's going to happen with ETH. And you're just going to wake up one day and it's going to happen. Starknet's token begins trading after massive airdrop. The good news with airdrops is there's enough capital floating around in the system to have these airdrops do well. It's a good sign. It's a good sign for liquidity. Now, that said, liquidity is moving towards what's next. So if you're long stuff from the last cycle, you may get these pops, but bag holders are going to be there. Again, it's a trading environment, and the market is giving you time to get portfolio adjustments done to make sure that, you know, if there's volatility in March or volatility around the clips in April, you got capital in the right place. Coming soon in my Patreon is going to be one-on-one consults. So we can chit-chat for 15, 30, or 45, but that's only for Patreon Premium. Hong Kong crypto stock surge. OKX to invest in layer ones. Bitcoin rally leads Hong Kong stocks. Folks, they're cutting rates in China. What do you think is going to happen when all of Asia, BlackRock and buddies, go to buy crypto that isn't there? It's just not there, right? There's massive buyers, no sellers, and everybody is falling over themselves. You can go back and watch this stream on every red day from now until the end of April. Now, end of April, yeah, there could be something nasty. We're going to go over something that Patreon Premiums had for a week, okay? Because I'm nice. But every red day, man, you got to look at this. You got to look at this. Why are you here? Oh, whoops, Bitcoin holdings on Coinbase at the lowest level since 2015 as whales put it away. Where's BlackRock going to get all this Bitcoin from? Where are you going to get all this Bitcoin from? Binance finalizes delisting amid surprising market response. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say about PRIVACY. Okay. Your money is your money. And when I remember something from 2020, that if it was hard to buy, you couldn't figure out how to buy it, or you couldn't hold it, even though you knew you wanted it, that was the stuff that you needed the most for the long term. Like nobody could figure out how to buy Kusama back in the day. Nobody can figure out how to buy Bitcoin ordinals, right? Nobody can figure this out. If you have bottled water, beef jerky, a tent, a spare tire, things to make a fire, PRIVACYCOINS on a thumb drive, just in case you need it. Notice Zeph, Secret, Zcash woke up. Secret, last I looked, was up today with this market dumping. This reminds me of equities, right? AI, and then privacy, and then layer ones, and then DeFi, and then, it'll go back to the big caps, which we'll talk about and talk about and talk about. Solana DeFi tops 2 billion in value locked. And no one's talking about it. And they're selling it. Here's a hint. Next moonshot, it's on the thumbnail, right? Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Not necessarily sexy, but the move could be bigger than you think. And they're selling it to you today, February 20th, at a discount. Like those three could be the next moonshots because that's how it grows, right? Big caps, mid caps, small caps, maybe a little degen meme coin thrown in. But after they're done with that, it all rotates back to the big coins. Solana at 105, not investment advice. To me, feels like Christmas. You can let me know in 3 days if I got to eat my words. I'm telling Patreon Premium, red. Get involved on red. Don't FOMO in up 15% because it'll probably come down and retest support. And oh, by the way, on these red days, all these altcoins and the charts that I'm just like incessantly cranking out, Patreon Premium gets like 8 charts a night plus a podcast. Plus that's proactive, and then plus their requests in the premium chat group. Gaming tokens. Man, I saw a very respected individual say that the next NFT cycle is going to be bigger than the last one. And it's going to be driven by gaming. And none of that stuff has moved. Like Gala, all this stuff has not gone anywhere. Sandbox had a little bit of a bid. I mean, there's a whole universe of gaming, metaverse, and NFTs that, I mean, it hasn't even started to rally, right? Beam, Mavia, am I saying it right? You know, Mavia, I think I've seen the chart of this. I believe this is ready to go. When that goes, it is really going to go. Okay. So again, like equities, which again, I get it. That's what I'm here for. You haven't been there. I understand. You rotate sector to sector to sector. Why? Because the Fed is still too tight on liquidity, which is why banks have to merge and which is why the Chinese have to cut rates. And when we finally get real, right, when they realize that there's nothing they can do about what goes on at the grocery store, or until consumers just walk away for a couple months in a row, they're going to have to cut rates. I'm sorry. Or the market's going to cut rates for them by taking long-term rates down. Pixel trading volume hits 1.2 billion as Ethereum gaming tokens tops major coins. People, sector by sector by sector. Minister from a government expects stablecoin and staking legislation within 6 months. You know what, folks? Let me tell you something. Free markets forever. Free markets forever. Crypto deepfakes on X. Don't click on anything. Just don't click on anything. Apparently, Elon Musk has a doppelganger and his mom couldn't tell the difference between the two of them. There's going to come a day where Elon comes out and says, you know, you can stop me, but you can't stop price. You can't stop price. And I'm going to put a payment system on X. And this is probably the most underestimated catalyst out there. Because the deep state's not going to stop leaning on him. So it's logical that crypto may be how he pushes back. Okay, let's see who else is here. Renee. What's the rationale for the Fed? I don't know. It's going to be banks and commercial real estate. They're keeping rates up to prop up the dollar, which is fine. I get it. Part of their mission is to fight inflation and defend the currency. They're trying to do both. They're trying to do their job, right? But, you know, that doesn't mean the market can't turn around and go, you know what? Interest rates are not stopping inflation and they're hurting the economy. So if they don't trade it in interest rates and they don't trade in the bond market, they can trade it in crypto. Pancakes and peanut butter giving me some love. Routine cheese, welcome. Right? King looking for Polkadot. AVAX is the sleeping giant. I understand they have a token unlock coming. Okay, here comes your market update. Just as a reminder, this show is brought to you by my Patreon. You can scan this QR code. There are clickable links in the comments and the link down below. Content comes to you helped by Patreon. So if you want content, because if I don't say so myself, I am not always right about market direction. Nobody is. When I'm right, I'm really right. When I'm wrong, I'm really wrong. However, I will say this. I am hard-pressed to find anybody in this market who understands the overall macro and micro picture better than me. Some people have better skills in things like airdrops, but in terms of understanding what is happening, why it's happening, and what you should do next, try the barcode. Nasdaq 100, NVIDIA earnings coming out tonight. The Magnificent Seven, up only. Coming to an interesting trend line. All these new highs are not confirmed. Everybody is bailing out over there. That could be hurting crypto. I don't know why everybody would sell crypto because of NVIDIA earnings, but I guess as these gigantic things go, so does everything go, at least for the algos on the first day, because the first trade is always wrong, right? Okay. So I said something about NVIDIA forever, and there's a guy on Twitter who won't let me forget it because, that was, $300 or $500 ago in the stock price. You don't really make a living being negative Nasdaq 100. But my answer is very simple. Who cares, right? NVIDIA earnings are good. Risk assets go up. NVIDIA earnings are bad. Money's got to come out. Where is that money going? Where is a tech fund going to allocate money? Who in their right mind would buy this instead of Bitcoin? You know what I'm saying? I just visually. Okay. Now, Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart. So they ran stops on the upside. This high was not confirmed by a new high in an oscillator. So they dropped it down to the bottom end of the range. Who knows? Maybe they're going to run stops. Maybe they already did. This just looks like a giant exercise in stopping people out because that's what bull markets do. Traders watch the trend go up. They don't participate, and then they just chop you up. Don't get chopped up if you can help it. But when it's red and they're selling it and they're pressing and they're triggering stops, get there before they do. Okay, ETH. How about some super basic TA? You know what I see in ETH all the time? I see these wicks. So here's a wick, here's a wick, here's a wick, 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 wick. What do wicks mean? That means the market starts here, goes down, comes back. Now that looks like forced selling to me, right? Somebody pushes it down and then the real buyers bring it back. And this has been going on in ETH from 2,700 to 3K. And they're still grabbing it. They're grabbing it harder up here. So everybody panics and bails in front of, an even number imaginary chart resistance, and then they bring it back. Wick, 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 John Wick 4. I mean, if ETH is above 3K, it can go to 4K. I mean, yes, I understand it's mired in this range, but once they're not afraid of 3, they may not be afraid of 4. This is the second coin along with Solana. In many ways, in ETH, it's like I can get louder because it feels like Christmas because ETH has never gone up. It's done nothing. And what happens, because again, we're seeing it, right? So I'm not making this up. At any given time, sectors can pop. Bitcoin pops, AI pops, right? What, you think the ETH pop off is that far away? Okay, speaking of the pop-off, this is Analog Pattern Match, which was delivered to Patreon Premium several days ago. The orange line is Bitcoin today. The blue line is a computerized pattern match. So it's not an overlay, it's a pattern match. So I have an 87% match that we're in a vertical trajectory for Bitcoin. And then the chop all comes later, including a nasty dip in April. So why would anybody be selling Bitcoin when every time you sold Bitcoin in the past, it just turned around and ripped up? And then, of course, you'll have a decline and then a new high. So you're going to have to be nimble, but I have no idea why anybody is selling. Now, ETH is also in a vertical phase. So ETH will probably go vertical and then drop. Everyone's too worried about the drop and not enough worried about the extent that it can go vertical. Because when the forced selling ends, that's what can happen. Solana, hidden pivot analysis. Wow, look at this. There's a base at 105. This is hidden pivot analysis, and that's exactly why they call it hidden pivot, because it gives you levels that you might not normally see. So this looks like Solana's at the higher end of the range and forming a top. Little do you know, Solana has been on this point for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. The bigger the base, the higher in the space. So I guess if they take out 105, I have to eat humble pie. But if they don't take out 105, 131 and 184 are next. I mean, this AI coin rally, it came out of nowhere on something stupid. I mean, I can't predict on charts that OpenAI would release something related to video and every AI coin would then go up 60%. The catalyst can be silly. Catalyst could be a drop in the dollar. We'll cover that. Okay, so everybody is into the Bitcoin halving and cycles. Let me give it to you quick. 2017, 2020, the cycles were 35 months. 15 months in, you started the parabolic. Next month, in 10 days, is the 15th month. And they're selling everything. Can't sell fast enough. Ridiculous. You may ride this trend line. These blue lines are drawn with Fibonacci math. This thing could go ride this trend line all the way to December 2025. And of course, it could also get above this trend line too, but this is Bitcoin. What is everybody selling for? You got to be kidding me. I mean, I guess the other way to say this, and we always say don't sell your crypto to BlackRock, blah, 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 but who is taking your crypto today? Who's taking it? I got an answer. Everybody. Crypto hedge funds, whales, smart retail, people who missed the rally, BlackRock. I mean, everybody. And it could be down this much because they're trying to get your crypto. Like, NVIDIA earnings are coming out. Everyone's panicking. Everyone's all worried about it. Oh, let's sell everything. Booga, booga, booga. Pfft, whatever. Seriously. The power of a diamond. Okay, so you break out of the diamond. You break above hidden pivot levels. Okay, the hidden pivot gives you support around 50. Didn't they go down there today? Interesting. Next stop. 62 if 50 holds. 62. Imagine the FOMO in retail at 62. Imagine people selling it today at 50 off whatever. Hut mining. Where are they going to get all this Bitcoin from? Gee, the high in this was 80. It's now at 10. They're building a giant facility. They absolutely destroyed these mining stocks because equity funds reallocated money from mining to the Bitcoin ETF. And this Williams oscillator on a monthly chart shows a big move could happen. And everyone's selling. It's like, it feels like Christmas to me. Marathon, same thing. Marathon was really Christmas at 16. But this is a robust monthly reversal. Zcash down 10% today. Unfortunately, it did not make it through this trend line. Ugh. But there are other plays in this sector that are making it. Zeph, Secret. This is a sector. Wrong again, right on time. MVK, what's up? Trade with earnings. dollar index. Dollar index. So we got ourselves a head and shoulders bottom. That's bullish for the dollar. They ramp it up. They run stops, foreign exchange market style. They invented that kind of stop fishing. And then red candles every day. You got any idea what it means for the dollar if they take it back below this neckline? I mean, it doesn't have to be a nuke. It just has to be a slow, steady invalidation of the bullish pattern. The most bearish patterns are invalidated bullish patterns. This pattern gets invalidated, you're going to be like, oh my God, we sold Bitcoin a day before the dollar gave out. U.S. interest rates, a little bit of trivia. So they did a wonderful job here of taking interest rates above the 38% retracement. This is the decline in interest rates when the Fed got all dovish last quarter. It's really not clear about inflation. You know, I don't blame the bond market for being like, well, do they or do they not have control over inflation? But it would be pretty funny if the bond market took a look at bank mergers and rate cuts in Asia, like back to back, and was like, what's that all about? Well, we'll know, because if the 10-year note yield falls below 425 and the dollar starts to go down, people will be asking, why was everybody selling Bitcoin and who took my Bitcoin from me? And that is the market update. Okay. Let's talk about Avalanche. Now, live technical analysis is brought to you by my Patreon group, who is nice enough to share me with you today. Patreon Premium for the cost of $1 Starbucks per month. Okay, so Avalanche. Avalanche has hidden pivot support at 38.41. They're pressing it back below that. Now, I like Avalanche. Avalanche has got a token unlock. What I'm going to say about this is if 38.41 holds, good for Avalanche. I hope it holds. If it doesn't, you need to be mindful that, you know, there are coins that are not going to make it in terms of big gains for the next cycle. On these dips, whatever holds support, that is the market telling you what may be for the next cycle. So not hating on anything in particular, but you have to read the charts, right? Which is why market update and you know what is the place to be, right? Polkadot. Okay, Polkadot, hidden pivot analysis. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's just like zoom in. Let's watch the boys at work. Okay, let's break it out. Let's stop everyone out, bring it back, ramp it. It's going to the moon, right? Nope. Boom. Drop it below support and then bring it back. This to me looks like a colossal shakeout right before this could take off to 9. Now, maybe this is not one of those coins that takes off, but whatever they're doing in Polkadot over here, they're doing it everywhere. Bull Runner is here reminding you to hit the like button. The like button helps me help you. So why not pound on it? Why not? Just saying. Okay, let's see what else we got in here. What do we got in here? Oh, Caspa. Boy, that thing is a beast. You know, if you look at the hidden pivot work, probably the real top is 21. So again, here's what Caspa did. This is another bull market classic, right? So the resistance in Caspa was at 14.5 cents, right? And here's what they did at 14.5 cents, right? It went up, came off. It went up, went all the way down, came back. It went up, took out all 3 of these opens, and then they brought it back. They stopped, and then they exploded through. So you had to put up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of annoying action at this level. And the people who won in this were the high conviction people. It's the high conviction people, right? Now, is every coin a high conviction coin? This is probably one of them. Okay. But sometimes they'll do it below resistance. Sometimes they'll do it on top of resistance. Bull markets frustrate you out, bore you, stop you out, and then they just go. When do they go? When everyone's out. When everyone gets out of the pool, boom. Then everyone gets back in the pool, and then they get the toaster. That is just how this works. It is not supposed to be easy. It is not supposed to be easy. Ave is here. Welcome. Crypto Steph, hello. Somebody wants to know, is Polkadot dead? I don't think Polkadot is dead, but it remains to be seen if it's for the next cycle, right? It might be a good trading coin. Okay, I see H-bar in here. By the way, just as an announcement, I told Patreon Premium this last night. Solana, Filecoin, the Graph, all owned by Multi-Coin Capital. They've been pitching that stuff to sovereign wealth funds. Don't underestimate these guys. Don't. Man, if I was a crypto hedge fund, I'd be pushing it on the way up. Let me see if there's something long-term on Hedera. Don't fade the big guys. Also, remember, in April, I know it's far away-ish, there's the halving. There's a huge crypto Web3 event for the eclipse in Texas. Okay. So this is the weekly candle for Hedera, right? Now, this is another bull market thing. Okay. It's called the breakout and the retest all at the same time. So there's resistance here. There's all these prior highs around 9 cents. So on a weekly candle basis, you break out, you wick up, and then you bring it all the way back, or close to all the way back. Sometimes you can do the breakout and the retest in one candle. That's all. I mean, if you FOMO'd in up 15% or 20%, it comes back down. If it holds, then every short in Hedera underneath 9 cents is underwater. Like when people say, oh, it's a cup and handle, or oh, it's a rounding bottom. That's what that means. That means everybody who gave up on Hedera at this level, at these levels, is going to want back in. Every short is underwater. I mean, where was this thing? You know, 40 cents? And we're like, oh, well, gee, it's down 5% today, and I'm going to freak out. Come on, man. Don't do it. Every single crypto, told Patreon Premium this last night, every single crypto, bigger the base, the higher in the space, rounding bottom, cup and handle, head and shoulders bottom, downward sloping wedges. I mean, it's just exactly like 2020. Pick a coin, it's there. You got to look at the charts. Again, I'm publishing like 12 to 15 per night. They give you these dips, take them. Take them. Okay. Quiet Dawn says 4 days until the full moon. Yeah. New moons make me nervous. Full moons I like better. Full moons I like better. Okay. Jashim is asking an interesting question. I'm holding 42 coins right now. Should I reduce to 15 to 20 coins? Okay. So here's what I can tell you. First of all, if you're asking that question, you've already answered it. You've already answered it. Second of all, you're going to go through all the coins and you're going to try to remember why you bought it in the first place. And then you're going to ask yourself if that's still true today. Did you FOMO in? If you did, everybody FOMOs in. So what? If you did a good one or you did a bad one, you got to try to stay even either way. Why did I get into this? Is this still true today? Can I take a loss for taxes? Is this a hodl play? Do you need 42 cryptos to make money? No. Right? Everyone says, oh, I need to diversify. Yeah, maybe. Or you need to own the thing that's going to moon the hardest. Is that hard to find? Yeah, that's why you read research. That's why. Because you got to find the thing that's going to go the hardest. In this case, after everybody got done chasing AI, it's probably time to move back to Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana. Because they're all sleeping giants just waiting to explode. Right? If NVIDIA's earnings come out and money starts moving from equities into crypto, I mean, NVIDIA is bigger than all of crypto, I believe. Let's see what else we got. Gala. Wendy O's coin. Weekly chart's kind of funny. Okay. Now, what I tell people with all these coins is this. You got to see evidence that people are willing to pay higher prices. Now, I'm going to do the hidden pivot analysis on Gala. Okay. So there you go. That's why it's hidden pivot analysis, 0.0265. Everybody's selling it like it's, no good. And the fact of the matter is the upside target is probably 0.044. Right? Which, if we go back on the chart, doesn't even unwind Celsius. Doesn't even unwind Celsius. Again, another key point for cryptos. Chainlink was the first cryptocurrency to unwind the Celsius FTX down move by going back up to where it was in April of 2022. No one has traded gaming. No one has traded metaverse. And there was almost no reaction to when, the Bored Ape guys went out and bought, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Moonbirds. There's going to be, instead of retail buying NFTs, there's going to be projects buying projects. And then there's going to be a gaming narrative on top of that. And I don't understand why metaverse would be dead, especially if AI is involved. Okay. So one more. Filecoin. Okay. Look at this. So Patreon Premium got this last night. Okay. They're undoubtedly all over this dip. Filecoin, no matter how you cut it, there's a downward sloping wedge, right? These things, there was one kind of in Jasmine. This is what Kusama looked like at the low. Minimum target on this is 12. Minimum. You put the rounding bottom in or the cup and handle, right? Look at this nasty, choppy handle over here, which is what those handles are. The cup and handle target is 15. Go to a weekly chart on this. So multi-coin capital is involved, and I can't even draw the weekly chart because the high was 194, and oh my God, I'm selling and I'm panicking because it's trading at $7.37. People, red days. Why are you in crypto? Why aren't you in my Patreon? When they're selling it to you, why are they selling? Are they trying to get you to sell? Are they freaking out about NVIDIA? Did it get overbought on altcoins? Are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana about to wake up? Are they under-owned by giant players? If giant players want in, where are they going to get liquidity? Well, they might get it in Bitcoin, but they'll probably chase Ethereum and Solana at the same time. Like Solana has done nothing and has like put everyone to sleep. What happens if Solana doesn't go below 105 and some big player out there who's trying to break it and get it at 98 goes, oh, now we got to FOMO in? Especially with these macro catalysts from last night. So if they want to sell it to you, great. I used to work with a guy who says, make them sell it to you at a good price. I didn't think they were going to do this today. Everything was up 10% yesterday and it's down 6% today. Excellent. Excellent. What did you miss? Nothing. Nothing. But if you get too wound up in like the minutia of this stuff, like if you get wound up because you're fixated on coins from the last cycle, or if you're buying high and selling low inside of a range, instead of just sitting back waiting for them to come to you like today, people, bull markets are hard. I keep repeating it because I got to tell myself, bull markets are hard. They get you FOMOing in, thinking it's alt season, right? You get alt season for one day and then they drop it. But that's good. That's better because, as somebody said, straight up is no good. Somebody has reminding me in my Twitter of something that I said. So I'm helping you learn and I'm learning as I'm teaching. Really, they say the only way to learn it is to teach it. Patreon Premium, Red Days. We'll see you next week.